Alright, so now the sound is back on as well. Perfect. 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 Yeah, it was just OBS crashing for a second there. Alright, I'm gonna turn on. I think it's time to get some music going. Get some hard pumping music. Music. Release type doesn't matter, but we're gonna do. What do they have here? Chill out, maybe. Let's try this. See what it is.
1.
OBS crashed, yeah. Oh god. And for once I forgot to pop my yeah, that was extremely casual of me. Come on. I was behind him there. Some of these fights are just poop. Yeah, of course. I was doing some side deals with some of the tanks so they would buy FAPs from me instead of you. Obviously. I'm doing tons of shady shit. You should see what's going on behind my face in chat. Like there's definitely a lot of unsavory stuff going on there. Very unsavory. Oh wait, that's the cross. Yep. Ruining your business. The Big Burnt is like the polar opposite of me in terms of classic gold making. Where I've never farmed a day in my... I actually have done a little bit of gold farming in classic, but very little. He loves farming. Probably richer than me. By quite a bit. He sponsored a lot of epic mounts for people in the guild. So people ask on our Discord server like how do you make or what are good ways to farm gold, and like we'll give them the most conflicted advice ever. I think I have a lot of oily black mouths in my mailbox. I did a shopping scan for alchemy materials that I just haven't bothered crafting because I was planning to finish off the UBRS quests for tier 0.5, and that I ended up just not bothering. Just didn't feel like finishing it this week after all. I'm gonna add some more genres. Let's see what other chill stuff do they have. 2,000 shadow potions. Yeah, that's a good level. I just keep selling them. I'm out of flash powder. Let's hope no one saw me pull that. I'm sure the healers did. I have a feeling they are a little bit sensitive towards ninja pulls. Like, oh, I am low on mana. Someone shouldn't have been pulling now. Probably the idiot gnome. So I assume that the music volume is okay. I try not to mess around with my sound settings, but I do every once in a while. Yeah. Thank you for the follow, Xotchill 78. Really appreciate it. Alright, so we're doing Grr.
5, 4, 3.
And so for a binding, just because it's cool to see bindings. I'm actually on the short list for bindings, so I could potentially go for one. I don't think I'd get it though, if it dropped. Rip mages. Ignites are a hell of a drug. Just crap. Can't go in on these, like they explode when they die, and you get punted across the room.
Trying to find that gold. Got a brand new phone. Trying to find that gold. Got a brand new phone. Push my buttons, come and let me know. And we'll speak down the time run home.
It's time to see a binding drop from Geddon. Apes got one this week, finally. It's our turn. It's our turn. Mm-mm. Mm. This is some this is giving me some serious Hotline Miami vibes. Or maybe even Dr. Disrespect. Oh yeah. Yeah, Pop. I sold Sappers today for 100 gold already. They're still selling for I sold them for 5.2 gold each today. A couple. And I've generally been able to get pretty large volumes of stone. Not today, there weren't much up when I checked earlier. I should probably log my second account again and just see if I can find some more solid stones. Might as well. Supercharges are just so crazy. Well, there's no point. Well, I mean, I think it will probably take a little bit of advertisement to get sales. But as far as I know, they're going to be as good as Uncanny Gear, and they're going to be way cheaper, way faster to craft. At least the same item level. So if that's the case, then obviously I think they'll sell on the auction house, because I thought buying an easy set of gear on the auction house is the fastest way, and they'll probably be very cheap. Oh, after everything gets to 60, then they're gonna be worthless, obviously. At 60, it's gonna be vendor shuffles only, yeah. Here we have it. Pop. 100 gold in Sappers. They are so good. I think people will buy at 50. The highest one to gear up alts for Shadowlands, but outside of that I don't... But I don't know. We'll probably install the PTR afterwards. I think I have enough of a fiber line that I should be able to do that even while streaming. Let's see what happens if I turn on the download to the bitrate. I do have a dedicated streaming PC, so bitrate looks unchanged and I'm downloading extremely quickly.
2, 1.
No, it shouldn't. Perhaps I'm not. Well, I have like 500 fiber here, so shouldn't really be closed. Get purged by McNuggy. On Sandalar Tribe, you mean E2 Bolsa? I haven't had a world buff in months. If it's that kind of purging you're talking about. The last time I had a purgeable world buff was a long time ago. If it's some other purging, then I'm missing some context here. Oh yeah, but we decided to just run zero. We decided to do AQ progress with zero world buffs. So we've done AQ 40 with zero world buffs so far. Completely zero world buffs every raid. To get the potentially a more interesting challenge out of progress. So I haven't bothered with world buffs in a long time, and it's been extremely nice. Just very chill to just not have to worry about that at all, especially as a literal dad gamer. Trying to get the be in time for Oni buffs when you're singing a lullaby. That's hard. Not the easiest schedule fit. Which guild are you in then, E2? I've gotten purged and ganked obviously, but in the grand scheme of things, I have a fairly casual playing schedule after all. So I've not really like engaged in the wider server community much at all. Even though I could if I wanted to, like what? The people from our guild who wants to can do so. I just post stuff on the auction house. A lot of it. Another 50 gold on sappers. Yeah, some people were extremely mad about the war effort. That was hilarious. The memes were great. Oh god, I'm so dead. Oh come on. I don't wanna die. I feel like you want to kill the core hounds. I always feel like killing core hounds is the best play, but I think that's just because I do more damage to core hounds with poisons. So I like this idea that if I go on them, we'll get a kill faster. But of course that's not the case for other classes, just rogues, just rogues. That's one thing about Classic, like the server drama and everything, like the toxicity in the open world and stuff like that. It's extremely interesting to read about. And it's an extremely cool aspect of Classic that exists. But ultimately, I'm at the place in life where I don't have the time to engage with that stuff at all, or really much of an interest. Like dominating world PvP and world bosses and everything like that, which has a lot of toxicity and griefing and interesting stuff. Like when the Alliance tried to camp the Duskwood bus on Sandalar Tribe, or having to fight your way into Orgrimmar, or fight your way, control the neutral auction houses to move over materials and everything like that. But I mean, I don't have the personality type or the time or the interest to be a part of that side of the game. But I do think it's pretty cool that it exists. I'm happy just hanging with the guys and the guild on Discord and having fun with raids and being on what is ultimately, for me at least, turned out to be primarily a fun nostalgia trip. I did think that some of the people on Alliance were a little bit extra mad about, like, okay, Hordes didn't want to contribute to war effort. So what? Why are you punishing them for that? There's no law that says they have to care as much about the war effort as you. But that was some of the most memorable stuff that's happened on the realm ever, though. So I'm glad everyone got riled up over it. The meme channels on the server discords were definitely a thing to behold. Made it to like Classic WoW several times as well. There are other realms who made it to the front page as well, but we were one of them. We were one of them. We also had we had a lot of fun. Fun is not a lot of fun. We had some good fights as well, because we're not a hardcore guild at all. But we did manage to get our Scarab Lord, even so, at long last. We would have barely made it if the war effort wasn't denied. But it meant we did a lot of our Silitus farming after all of the big Alliance guilds were already done, so Hordes had control for most of the day. Yeah, we did it, but we essentially did it late. We didn't really start until like 4 days after, because our Scarab Lord, he had taken vacation time, but not from day one. So we had to make friends with like some other guilds that were farming at the time, some of the other casual guilds, and had a bunch of good fights taking over hives from Hordes and stuff. But I mean, it was the most insanely boring thing I've ever been a part of in WoW, actually killing the bugs. And I did it on my Warlock, because that's a better class at soloing elites, which meant that my job was almost always just to sit inside a cave and kill bugs while the rest of the guys got to or some of the other classes got to world PvP on up top, so that that was boring. It was fun to make it. It was fun that we made it, but that was boring. That was incredibly boring. It's too bad. Like last week, we screwed up our pars, or our log got fucked in Encourage. Otherwise, we would have had been number one, no world buff speed on the round. We had incredibly good progress without without world buffs, so. 2 hours. It wasn't a speed run, just a regular run. I think we clocked in at like 2 hours and 12 minutes or something like that. But our Cthulhu log got invalid. And we only had one person running the logging, because I hadn't forgotten to turn on auto logging, so that was annoying. We're going to speedrun Encourage this week though, or this week, so I'm not sure if we haven't decided if it's gonna be 0 world buffs or world buffs. P5. Not complete raids, I can't do that. All stars. I'm number 5 on the realm in all stars on 0 world buffs on Encourage, so that's nice. Are there any fights where I have actually top DPS without world buffs? No, definitely not cool. Tankers? No. I think some guy said we would have been 7th on the speed ranking with in the world buffs allowed category, even with our 0 world buff, not even a speed run. On Sandalar. But I think people have recorded faster time since then. Yeah, people have recorded faster time since then, since it's Darkmoon Fair week. So it would have been like, yeah, much farther down now. Definitely a lot of runs today and yesterday. People doing their speedruns. Yeah, we now have. I'm not a designated logger, but I have all of the infrastructure. Now I've got told of the option in DBM to just, which automatically turns on logging. So now we have at least 3 dedicated loggers. But yeah, that sucks. 130. Is that a speedrun attempt or just like... Has to be, that would have been top 5. It would have been number 5. At 130. We haven't even registered a full Encourage clear. I think I was on the moon in truck duty. Yeah, we'll see. We haven't been told. We did a vote on whether or not people wanted to do speedruns with or without world buffs in Encourage this week, so we'll see. the majority favored without world buffs. I think a lot of people really just like not having to deal with the insanely annoying aspect of getting world buffs. I personally don't care that much if it's like just for a speed run every once in a while. I don't mind that. But you have to get there. It's just annoying. I'm ghoul. I just realized when it was someone mentioned on Discord, like, are we getting, do people need summons to Encourage with world buffs? And people were like, yeah, I think we want to do one more without world buffs. I'm like, it is so nice to not have to think about world buffs. It is feels so good to not have to worry about that at all. And know that, and it's fun to get pink parses even without getting world buffs by parsing in the non-world buff category. Because I have insanely good gear. I was one item off full best in slot for phase 4 before Encourage opened. One item, just missing Striker's Mark. Of course my gear isn't as insanely good anymore because I haven't gotten any Encourage daggers yet, but I'll be honest, I think that the warrior DPS meta in Classic and the fact that warriors are as good as they are is one of the worst things about Classic. Just screws up loot distribution. It screws up in terms of actual. This was something I didn't know before I started Classic or rolled my character, but I mean, in terms of raid DPS, warriors are just better rogues. There's no way around that. They have cleave and better single target. It's just dumb. Better cleave and better single target. You could argue that rogues have better single target or two target on demand burst, but tell me where that matters in WoW. Nowhere. I also realized that I think one of the reasons why melee are so good is because we double dip from buffs like Kings and the Sandalar buff and stuff like that, because we get attack power from strength or agility, whereas casters only get crit from